Alright, what's going on, guys? Elden Ring Nightreign is in a bit of a lull period at the moment. As we've now conquered 3 of the Everdark Sovereigns, look forward to the next, and scan the horizon for the eventual DLC, it's good to have times like this, where there's a bit of a cooldown before even more new content comes out. But we all know how ravenous Fromsoftware fans are, and this lull has not stopped everybody from seeing what they can find about what's coming next. So today we've got a few leaks to discuss, new revelations about some of the new content coming over the next few months to Elden Ring Nightreign, and if you can believe it, a new rumor about the future of Bloodborne, which has been making the rounds on the internet, so we're gonna break all of that down. But as we get started, a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Opera GX. Opera GX is a fully modernized internet browser designed specifically for gamers. And don't worry, Opera GX has a quick import tool to carry over everything from your last browser so that you don't miss a beat. You can mod Opera GX however you like, but it also features a wide range of pre-made mods, including the new Witcher 3 mod in collaboration with CD Projekt Red. Once installed, this mod completely transforms your browser into a full Witcher experience, with background music, typing, and tab change sounds, special splash screens, icons, and more. And you can fully configure it however you like from the mods menu at any time. And it comes with a special GX corner to keep you up to date on absolutely everything about The Witcher at all times, such as videos and music, an interactive map, which makes for an even more immersive adventure, IGN guides, and modding tools. So step up your browsing game today by checking out Opera GX in the link down in the description or in the pinned comment. And now let's get back into the video. Starting off today with Elden Ring Nightreign, we've been going through the schedule of Everdark Sovreign fights, and announced last week, I'm sure you guys saw, that throughout the rest of July, the rotation is going between the 3 that we've already had, Adele Baron of the Night, Fulgor, and Heolstor, with the rest, Gladius, Libra, Augur, and Caligo, coming at a later date, which was not yet announced. Now, prior to the Everdark Sovereigns going live, many of them had leaked, particularly the 3 that we got starting out the rotation. All 3 of these had leaked in their entirety. However, the other 5 that we're still waiting on had maybe leaked in appearance, but overall the details were very sparse. So not only did it reveal what these forms would be like, it also inadvertently revealed the order they'd come. So it's interesting that now we've gotten new details on the enhanced version of Gladius. Now, when the original leaks came out, we literally had nothing about the Everdark Sovereign version of Gladius, but now we have several of its moves, thanks to the investigation of data miners. Now, these are very rough, they're lacking particle effects, and we don't know if Gladius is going to change in form, but it's very interesting to see. Now, I'm not going to show any video, obviously, or there's a chance that this video will get taken down. I don't want to risk that, but I will describe these to you. Now, the new moves that have been uncovered have Gladius assuming a different stance. Instead of his normal way of using the sword by throwing it around on the chain, he pops the sword up and catches it in one of the mouths, much like Sif in Dark Souls. In this instance, he's holding the sword in the leftmost mouth, with the blade out to the side. One of the attacks he can do here postures the sword up with a sort of telegraph, and then swings it in a forward slash from left to right. He then holds it there for a second, and then does another slash right to left, and then pops the sword up and throws it back on his back. He has another attack from this stance, where he holds the sword up like he's going to slam it down, and then slams it down very hard, does a 360 with it in the ground, and I'm pretty sure this one is a sort of grab attack based on the way the camera seems to follow it. So if you get caught by the original slam, you will stay on the sword while he does the 360, and then likely get launched off with the second slam. That's just what it looked like to me. Another stance that Enhanced Gladius can assume is tossing the sword into the middlemost head. The middle head catches the sword and holds it at a sort of 45-degree angle. It then turns the sword and launches it upward, and I assume this is going to be some kind of ranged attack, like sending out a shockwave or blast of fire, but what it almost looks like to me is some sort of parry. Like the middle head catches the sword and holds it at that 45-degree angle for a time, and then if you attack it head on or something like that, it turns the sword up to parry your attack and reflects it somehow. Again, all the effects are missing. All we have is the move itself, so we can't know for sure, but that's what it looks like to me. Now, the third and final stance it can take is of course tossing the sword to the rightmost head. From this stance, Gladius will do a sort of shovel slash, turning the sword upward, and then do a follow-up spin, stabbing the sword into the ground. So it looks like that's going to be the gimmick of the enhanced Gladius, to where it'll toss the sword back and forth between each of the mouths, and each one of those blows will trigger a different attack. So that's going to be a really good way to telegraph what it's going to do, depending on which head catches the sword. As of right now, I gotta admit, this looks pretty simple, but like I said, we are missing the particle effects. There could be a lot of shock waves associated with these moves, and we don't know how Gladius himself is going to change form. We'll just have to wait and see once the final version actually drops. But based on what I've told you, how do you feel about Enhanced Gladius? Now, with all the announcements of the Everdark Sovereigns, one that has not been officially confirmed is Heolstor, the actual final Lord of Night. And this has led many people to believe that he will not be receiving an Everdark Sovereign form. And I'm not gonna lie, I would be really disappointed if that's the case. We gotta have an ultimate version of this guy. He's way too cool, and honestly could use a little bit of a buff. Well, it looks like we are in luck, because also in the files of the game, look what has been found. Included in all of the icons in Nightreign are icons of an Everdark Sovereign version of Heolstor. The icon for the selection, the icon for the map, and the icon for completion. So yes, it does appear like we will be getting an Everdark Sovereign version of the Nightlord. However, based on the schedule we currently have, it's probably going to be a long time before we actually get to fight it. And really, my mind just has to ask, what would that even be? How exactly could they evolve this fight? You know, his second phase already takes the elemental aspects of each of the other Nightlords. Maybe the enhanced version actually summons them. That's just the first idea that comes to mind, but that would be crazy. Like, imagine he goes up to the air, opens up the sky to their selected arena, and then that Nightlord jumps through it and joins the fight. That would be insane, but honestly, that would be the level we need to really cap off the ultimate final boss of this game. But what do you guys think Enhanced Heolstor is going to be like? How do you think that fight's going to change? And when do you think we'll get it? Do you think they'll wait till the DLC, or just when the rotation of all the others is up? Y'all let me know down below. Now, the final thing I want to talk about today, like I said, is actually a new rumor about Bloodborne. Yes, I know these pop up every once in a while and are almost never real, but the source on this one surprisingly is Moist Critical. Now, you guys might have seen this and it was going around so much that I had to talk about it, but take a look.
Bloodborne's coming, you'll see. I do think one day it's going to come. I think Sony is so desperate right now. Sony is getting nothing but bad hands, and they're going to go to Bloodborne. I know it's coming. But I don't think it's something that they've been planning for a while. I think it's going to be in response to the desperate situation they're finding themselves in, like, publicly. There's something I'm not going to give any fucking hints, actually. Never mind. I will get in big trouble for that. Never mind. I was going to go on a tangent about something, but it's not something I'm allowed to talk about at the moment. I know something about Bloodborne in general in the future. I'll say that much.
Okay, so that's all he had to say about that, which I find very interesting. Now, the reason this had me at least raising my eyebrows was because Moist Critical isn't someone who needs to drop something like this to clout chase or make up some kind of leak to get attention. He doesn't need any attention. So I do believe him when he said he heard something. Now, what I would want to know is, who did he hear it from? He does say that he would get in trouble for talking about it, so I assume it would at least be somebody who could get him in trouble, and I do think that's at least worth considering. Now, I'm just gonna be honest, I don't think we'll ever get a Bloodborne 2. If I had to put money on anything that he might have heard, maybe a PC port. I don't even know if I'd go so far as a remaster. And as much as I agree that Sony does need a win right now, I just think if anything big with Bloodborne would have happened, it would have happened already. So I'm really not that hopeful. I know there was that news going around about a Bloodborne movie in the works, but they couldn't find a director, and it's still just in concept. Maybe that's what he heard. And even with Sony owning a much bigger portion of Fromsoftware now than they did back then, I still just don't think we're gonna get that Bloodborne 2. I think it's very clear that Fromsoftware has moved on from that, and with Duskbloods, Miyazaki has implanted that Bloodborne 2 vision into something else. So while I'm not hopeful, I would love to be pleasantly surprised, but what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments section below. Anyways though guys, that is going to do it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Shout out to Opera GX for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check them out in the links down below. And with all that, I will catch you in the next one.